Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, I know it's the third video with the same outfit, the same makeup. Yeah. I haven't done a scary reaction video for a while now, so obviously this time I chose again slap him. And the video is weird and scary rituals performed around the world. Oh my god, hope that looking the video I will not receive a scary ritual. Hope. Oh, in Italy we do this. We do this like go away, no? Yeah. So obviously if you remember, who remember my first reaction video with scary video, I will turn off the light.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this
Hi
is Slow
Callan,
Cam. Today
Daniela.
we're looking at some weird and scary rituals that are being performed around the world. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more mysterious and eerie content just like this.
It's
A witch bottle is a unique
chicken
ritual.
foot?
Average people typically create
Frogs?
them to find protection against unknown energies and spirits. They're usually filled with vile ingredients. Historically, these bottles have either been made by folk healers or a trusted witch. If one believed that they knew someone possessed by a spirit, the person's urine, nail clippings or hair were a pivotal ingredient of the bottle. These bottles were also filled with needles, pins, rosemary and red wine. The belief is that the spirits will be attracted to the victim's ingredients, trapped by the pins and needles, forced to drown in the red wine, and banished by the rosemary. These bottles were typically hidden away in the furthest corners of one's property. The first mention of a witch bottle appears in a 1681 book by Joseph Glavel, Seducimus Triumphatus, or Evidence Concerning Witches and Apparitions. These bottles were constructed to bring peace to a household and to drive away malicious spirits. They're quite complex to study since they were sometimes made by witches and other times to drive witches away.
How you call it?
A more recent example of witch bottles being used in the United States dates back to the Civil War.
Videos,
It's said that Union soldiers may have buried witch bottles in order to keep themselves safe from Confederate troops.
They bought
This
from,
is only a theory,
internet.
as it's highly possible troops would have had no other way to dispose of common witch
where
bottle
inside there is a
ingredients such
spirit
as urine
and you have
without creating a
alcohol.
historical misnomer.
Okay, I don't remember now. Oh, coffin.
Frog coffins are a form of folk magic performed in Finland. Just as the name implies, frogs were put into tiny coffins and often buried in secret locations. Dating back to the early 20th century, these weird rituals were actually meant to work as a type of counter magic, just like witch bottles. Generally, frogs are chosen to represent amphibian and aquatic life.
Strange
The
eyes.
initial lore of the frog coffin involved taking the luck of a successful fisherman and harnessing it for the folk magic of the frog coffin. That luck is then diffused into magic and reflected back at malicious spirits. The recorded uses of frog coffins range from benevolent attempts to cure epilepsy to malevolent intent to kill. It was thought that the magic generated by such coffins was powerful enough to accomplish a wide range of effects. Folklore archives from all over Finland document the many instances of these coffins having been buried for multiple purposes. The consistent factor between them is the importance of the coffin itself. Some similar coffins have been found in the area containing other animals and objects. However, because their method and intent seem to be the same, these objects are often grouped together with frog coffins. It is worth noting that many of these coffins have been found in churches all over Finland due to the structural integrity and longevity of such buildings over the years. Have you ever heard of a frog coffin? Let me know in the comments section below. The practice of offering food and libations to the dead is widespread. The form and method may have changed throughout history, but it is a common pastime. It's noted that the practice of pouring a small amount of wine on a grave has long been popular between
Oh.
Egypt and Greece.
Really?
In ancient Rome, this process was taken to an entirely new level. Libation tubes were made to flow directly into the inside
Oh,
of graves.
jeez.
This meant the dead could partake in food and drink in a purer form. These offerings typically first came during a
Are you
feast
for
known
real?
as Cena Novemdialis. This marked the end of the 9-day Roman grieving period after a loved one's death. The family would share a meal at the loved one's grave, pouring food and drink down the libation tube. This
You
and other
can
Roman
understand
celebrations
how
were later put to
many
an end by
ants
Christian leadership.
you will
These
have
rituals
inside
were considered
that coffin.
pagan and offensive.
Oh,
A tradition
that
of
is
pouring
disgusting.
vodka onto the graves of loved ones lives on in Russia today. Some Chinese cultures offer wine or tea at the tombstones of the deceased. Japanese culture puts particular emphasis
Oh,
on making
yes.
careful offerings at the
Bugs.
shrines of the dead.
How
The
is
Mexican
maggot?
holiday of Dia de
Maggots?
los Muertos is well
Ants.
known for its offerings. The
Disgusting.
graves of loved ones are populated with large amounts of their favorite food and drink. These are later enjoyed by the living. While these practices
An
are so
example,
widespread,
in
the
Romania,
slight cultural differences in how they're
when you
carried
eat
out is
and
worth
if you
noting.
lose
These
from your
practices
hand or
typically involve
from your
sharing
mouth
food or
the
drink
thing that
between
you
the
are
living and the
eating,
dead. The idea
they
is to
say
replicate the feeling of sharing a
that
meal with a loved one, even in
the
death.
that's one that you have, they are hungry. I don't know.
Some of you
Oh,
may not
jeez.
realize we've launched a Slapped Ham subreddit. If you have scary photos or videos you'd like to submit and share, our subreddit is the place to do it. It's also an awesome place to join the Slapped Ham community and see what other weird and wonderful things people are digging up. Those who have joined already have been sharing some seriously creepy stuff. I highly recommend you check it out. There's a link in the description box below. Like many of the weird rituals mentioned on this list, the tradition of hiding shoes and boots was carried out for different reasons. Shoes were often hidden in order to protect a home against spirits. For some, it was a chance to perform benevolent magic working as a fertility charm. The practice dates back to the 14th century and was widespread in Britain. These shoes and boots were typically hidden in homes, often inside of walls. But they were also hidden in businesses or factories in order to bring them good luck or to ward away any accidents. Whether or not they worked, we can't be sure, though these shoes have provided historians with an accurate picture of shoes throughout the ages. The hidden shoes were typically worn out and in need of repair, discarded because they are of no more use. There are differing theories as to the true purpose of the ritual. Some believe the scent attached to the shoes and boots was thought to draw in friendly spirits, who would then bring a household good luck. Others see the scent of the shoes as a sort of trap that would lure in evil spirits that could then be banished for good. Either way, the ritual was so widespread that thousands of such shoes have been discovered all over Britain. Before we take a look at a truly strange ritual that was performed throughout Britain, remember to hit that subscribe button, then click that bell icon there and turn on all
Subscribe to my
channel
channel for us.
notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we upload our scary and mysterious videos.
Oh my God, he's
Also, remember to pulverize that like button if you're
Sorry.
enjoying our content. Perhaps the weirdest of weird rituals on this list is the
Michael,
historical practice of hiding dead or mummified cats in
oh
the walls of
no,
buildings.
please.
Oddly enough, these cats seem to be widely found in the same
You
buildings as
imagine the
boots and
smell
witch
at the
bottles.
beginning. Whoa.
This suggests superstitious people of the time often found themselves doubling or tripling down on protective charms for their home. It's thought that the idea of mummifying cats was lifted from the ancient Egyptian practice. Cats were deified in Egypt, so some of that reverence made its way over to Britain. Associated with fertility, justice, and power, it's thought that this reverence was reflected in these slightly weird and scary rituals. What is interesting about this ritual is that there's often debate amongst scholars in regard to the particular instances. In many cases, it appears highly likely that a household cat had simply got stuck in a crawl space and died, making it seem as though a ritual had
Poor
taken
kitty.
place. However, in the hundreds of other cases in question, these cats appear to have been posed on purpose. They've been made to appear as though they're on the hunt or in a defensive position. In these instances, it seems clear that the cat's been posed to take on the role of the protective deity of one's home. Perhaps even more apropos is the thought that in addition to driving away witches, these cats were meant to ward off the familiars of witches, who are often said to take the form of cats.
Oh, we're done. But anyway, hope that you enjoyed this scary reaction video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share the video. If not, the weird and scary rituals will take you there. And the most important thing, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.